These BWICs, man, we got to get rid of these BWICs, man. BWIC, black when it's convenient. Yeah, I said it, black when it's convenient. Yeah, I said it, black when it's convenient. Yeah, I said it, black when it's convenient. Got something to get off my chest. Did you see the video of Candace Owens giving her opinion about the Sonya Massey shooting? I would like to call it an execution.
Black America is routinely taught to just be upset and to be angry and to do exactly what Cardi B is doing. And this is why I always use her as an example, because she has a massive platform and she's saying things. She has no idea what she's talking about. She obviously did not listen to my full show. She did not listen to the full context. And yet she's leading people to believe that I've somehow justified the shooting of Sonya Massey, right? Because if you just listen to what she said, you would go, oh my gosh, Candace is effing ish up again. Candace must have gone on her show and been like, listen, guys, this is not about race. This is totally fine, and just showed no empathy toward the situation. And that is why people would deem her to be a useful idiot. That's why I say that they like to platform people that they suspect don't have enough education to research things on their own and will therefore just believe a headline or believe a short clip, and again, will not do any deeper research to see what exactly it is that person said in their full context. So I'm just going to give Cardi B a portion of what I said that she definitively did not see, because I saw the same clip, which was edited intentionally, or I should say misedited intentionally, clipped intentionally in a way that tried to make it seem as though I was just out there defending what had happened to Sonya Massey. Here are my actual remarks, which oddly sound suspiciously a lot like what Cardi B was just saying there at the end. Take a listen. Now, when this first was spoken about, we were told that, I don't know, there was some sort of a threat with the boiling water. Sure, yes, she's acting erratically, and there is a situation in which she could have thrown the boiling water at the police officers, but they were nowhere near her. And then they shoot her, which to me, given the context of the fact that you knew that this woman was not mentally there, and even if she did throw boiling water at you, I don't see how saying, she said, I will rebuke you. I think she said, in the name of the Lord. And then he says, no, you will not, because I will shoot you. I mean, that is like very extreme, very aggressive. And he then proceeds to, he says, I will shoot you in the face. I mean, that's just like, what are you even talking about? Over a woman with boiling water. In my opinion, he should have simply used his taser if he felt threatened by the steaming water. Or if he felt that he absolutely had to use his gun, why didn't he shoot her in the foot? Or somewhere lower. This just did not seem like an appropriate response to me whatsoever. Now, parking that aside, of course, as I have said since the beginning of time, we can get out of there this. Are mistakes that police officers are human beings. So you can very, very much see what I said there, and it certainly does not sound like I was trying to justify what happened.
Let's stop right here. I want you guys to see just how deceptive Candace Owens is on display, and how she goes into complete Karen mode after being called out by Cardi B for her disrespectful take on the execution of Sonya Massey. Candace Owens made a failed attempt to justify her officers make mistakes comments by deceptively talking over the first part of her statement when she says, quote, there are mistakes that happen.
We can get out of there. There are mistakes that police officers are human beings.
In the same breath of supposedly defending Sonya Massey, she also purposely cut out the last part of her comments, reiterating, quote, there are mistakes that happen.
There are mistakes that police officers are human beings. There are mistakes that happen. We can get out of there. There are mistakes that police officers are human beings. There are mistakes that police officers are human beings. There are mistakes that happen.
She had the audacity to question whether or not Kamala Harris is black, when at every opportunity, she disrespects our community. Now let's see what else Godfrey has to say.
Sonya Massey, by the way, she called 911 for help. And now she ended up dead. And all she said was, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. She had a pot of boiling water. It was real simple. They could have been handled differently, and they executed her. Getting a little tired of black people getting executed for no reason. And it just goes to show you the hatred, the deep, deep hatred that this country has had for African Americans. Even though African Americans have basically built the country. Most of the inventions, you look at all the music, all of American music created by African Americans, which have benefited white artists. Black culture, which is probably the most lucrative culture in America and all over the world, because everybody's copying African Americans. From Asia to Saudi Arabia to India, everybody's incorporating hip hop and soul. And yes, think about sports when African Americans weren't even allowed in sports. And once we were allowed, look how lucrative it's gotten. All the contributions that African Americans have done, and the results are police brutality, segregation, Jim Crow, slavery, redlining. When does it end? When does it stop? For Candace Owens to say what she said in this video, I don't know. Sometimes Candace Owens, I would look at her and I go, you know what? You're right. I like what you're saying. You're right. You're right about that. Some of the stuff she says, I go, I agree with her. And she comes off like this super intellectual person. But then there's times where I go, are you bipolar? What are you? Do you have two different brains? I don't know. Because the things that you say about African Americans are so derogatory and so disgusting to me that I'm like, I've had it, man. You know, you're the same person that asked the NAACP to come protect you after people were being racist to you. And then all of a sudden, everything that comes out your mouth about black people is always denigrated. You critique us like black folks are just the dumbest people in the world and you're the smartest person. You come off like this pseudo-intellectual. You run your mouth constantly speaking over people, thinking that you're just so much more intellectual than people. I think that the black community, we really need to put our foots down. I'm getting tired of these handkerchief heads Negroes talking about black folks. We need to stop all that. We need to start to protect our culture like all other cultures do. You said that the Sonya Massey situation was not about race.
The hard facts are that if you examine this just based on a percentage rate, white Americans unarmed are more likely to be shot and killed by police officers in mistakes, shot and killed by police officers in these correspondences than black Americans. That is a fact. White Americans unarmed are more likely to be shot and killed by police officers in mistakes, shot and killed by police officers in these correspondences than black Americans. That is a fact.
Let's hear from our associate professor guest on his models and where the information is coming from, and a little bit more about the challenge of gathering all this info. Go ahead, sir.
Well, again, this information is gathered, then I take the data file and try to clean it up. It takes time and work. It's out there. Go to killedbypolice.net. Please do what you have to do. It would be great to have metro analysis. Absolutely. It's a lot of work. I haven't had time to do that yet. The state data was a lot easier to get. But I'm still hung up on your guest talking about rampaging black criminality. It doesn't rub right with me. What we see now based on these data is that police are involved in about 1,100 deaths a year at police hands. So it's about 3 per day. That's a little more than twice as much as reported to the Uniform Crime Report. We also know from these data that blacks are 3 times as likely to die at the hands of police.
I want to also address a flat-out lie by the Candace Owens. Let's address her quote. Based on a percentage rate, white Americans unarmed are more likely to be shot and killed by police officers in mistakes, shot and killed by police officers in these correspondence than black Americans. Let's review some actual statistics by Statista and see if what she says holds any weight. This particular report is based on the rate of fatal police shootings in the United States from 2015 to June 2024 by ethnicity per million of the population per year. Now, according to this report, the rate of fatal police shootings in the United States shows large differences based on ethnicity. Among Black Americans, the rate of fatal police shootings between 2015 and June 2024 stood at 6.1 per million of the population per year. For white Americans, the rate stood at 2.4 fatal police shootings per million of the population per year, confirming that Black American deaths by the hands of the police are 3 times higher than that of white Americans. In fact, white Americans rank 3rd. Now let's go to another source. Washington Post Fatal Force Report. 1,178 people have been shot and killed by police in the past 12 months. This is a quote from this report. Although half of the people shot and killed by police are white, Black Americans are shot at a disproportionate rate. They account for roughly 14% of the U.S. population and are killed by police at more than twice the rate of white Americans. Hispanic Americans are also killed by police at a disproportionate rate. A complete lie by Candace Owens.
You said that the Sonya Massey situation was not about race. Well, what the fuck was it about? A Black woman that calls 911 for help and she ends up getting massacred. When they came into the house, they were already disrespectful to her, talking down to her like she was nothing. See, most of the time, people do not see African Americans as human beings. That is why people have the nerve to talk to us different ways, whether it's in grocery stores, whether it's in department stores, whether it's going into a cab or whatever, because they already do not see us as human beings. And you know, another thing too is when Candace Owens got fired off of her network, that podcast network she was doing, all of a sudden she went to all the Black media. She was on the Joe Budden podcast, which I was hoping Joe would drill her sad, but that didn't happen. Then she's on the Breakfast Club, and she figured, oh, let me sing the Fresh Prince. That'll get me back in. Getting a little tired of that. You might as well sing Good Times too, and the Jeffersons. These BWICs, man, we got to get rid of these BWICs, man. BWIC, Black when it's convenient. Yeah, I said it, Black when it's convenient. Hey, I'm not perfect at what I say. You know what I'm saying? I try my best to protect the culture, my best, in a really good and sensible way. I'm not always perfect, but I'll be damned if I be a BWIC, be Black when it's convenient. I'm tired of that kind of shit too, huh?
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.